Okay, good morning again, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome to our second and final live stream of today. We are in the Cessna 172. I'm just going to pick the G1000 model. We are taking off from Long Lakes, Naples. It says so right here. We're going to take off from runway 34 water. We're going to depart. We're going to take off, and then we're going to hang a left. Head down to here. This nav point, that is ENE. And then we are going to make a quick run to PSM at Portsmouth International at Pease. And then we're going to head on down to Boston, come in over near Logan Airport. I almost said LaGuardia. But real quick, while we're waiting to see if anybody's going to pop in, I did find we were just here. Where'd it go? Yeah, right here. We were just here a moment ago. Right there. That's the train station we were just at. Here in downtown Boston. And then Providence is only right down here. So not a very far trip, really, if you think about it. Although it probably seems longer if you're on the all-stop commuter train or whatever. So we'll wait and see if anybody wants to pop in and join us. Don't know if anybody will, but we will. I'm on the East USA server, but I don't know how stable it is. We'll try this one, and if anybody wants to join, but it's like it becomes too much of a headache, then we'll change servers. But give it a minute or two, and we'll see if anybody wants to join. Or what I may just do is I may just spawn in on the water, and then if anybody wants to join in, they're more than welcome to. Also, you don't have to find these points. All you have to do is put on the pull-down menu, just select VOR to VOR. You don't. That way, you just have that information already, and you don't have to have the what do you call it? The frequencies and everything. I've got them. If you want them, I can give them to you. So yeah, we can do that if we want. So if you want to fly that way with me, if not, all you do is VOR to VOR, and it'll give you the route. And then if you have like whichever of the two Cessnas you have, whether it's the G1000 or the quote-unquote Steam, well, it's not really Steam, it's got a GPS system in it, but either one you can put that information in, or it'll show you which way to go and all that kind of stuff. So, but all right, I think I'm going to just spawn in on the water now, and if anybody wants to join in there, we'll get that sorted. And if we have to change servers because it's a bit busy on this one, we'll do that as well. I wonder if the Cessna 1.2 is the most produced general aviation plane, not the most produced plane. I'm thinking, well, I don't know, maybe it is. All right, so what we can do while we're waiting, we can put in our first VOR, which is 11710. Let's swap that. And then our second one is 11650. Perfect. See, the bad part is there's no like brakes. When you're on the water, you're on the water. So we'll give it a few more minutes and then we'll get going here. Nice sunny day here. Where are the landing gear should be up. Yeah, okay. I thought it was up, but all right, let's get some altitude dialed in as well so that we are put the flight director on and vertical speed. Well, I think we're just going to go ahead and go. Come on. That's too far. There we go. That's what we want. All right, let's go.
Gears up for water landing. Gears up for water landing. Gears up for water landing.
There we go. We are on our way. We want to take on a heading of 194. Oops. Hello, Joseph. How are you? Oh, I don't know, Joseph. I couldn't tell you. Oh, somebody. Hello again, Amela. Something just happened. I think somebody just went live. I think it's Captain Arish is getting ready to go. Somebody messaged me. Oh, I don't know, Joseph. I couldn't tell you. Sorry. No idea. Yeah, I wouldn't even begin to know what was the cause of that. All right. So it says we need to go on a heading of 195. There's a pontoon model. Yeah, you've had some problems lately there, Joseph, with Twitch. I don't know what it is, to be honest. So we departed from back here. There's a the water runway here is quite long. So it's not like you could run out of space, possibly. Let's get our lights off. Off. Put that on just because. It's a nice leisurely climb to 3,000 feet. I think we can live right here at 3,000 for right now. Hopefully everybody's enjoying their Sunday morning or afternoon or evening, wherever you are in the world. Joseph bids you good day. So there seems to be, and I've never noticed before until I started. You know, we've been flying these pontoon planes or seaplanes, whatever you want to call them. There are lots of water runways. You know, places you can land and take off on the water. You know, actual runways or whatever you want to call it. But it seemed for a while we didn't have those. It's like all of a sudden there are, I've seen more for whatever reason. I don't know if it's just because I'm not looking for them, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, there's more over here. Somebody's landing the Concorde somewhere. Or taking off. So we are heading. That's the great thing. So it says here we are going right for that DME, or that VOR DME, because it is a VOR DME. So yeah, we're on track. I really am happy that we're getting the G1000 as the standard Garmin system in planes like this, because there is way more information that you can get, like all this stuff here. It shows, and you can zoom out, and it's, because it even shows like all the airspace, like this circle and all that. That's like airspace right there, and that's what you would see on the chart, the FAA chart for this particular area. Is that should be this information right here. And it has like for your as a legend as far as like the what each color on the map represents, what elevation roughly it's at. So if you're like flying, you're like, oh, I might want to climb a little higher to get over this stuff. You'll know how much higher you need to climb to clear it. I think this one you can. So yeah, it'll have like, it'll show you like the lean. For when you lean out your fuel mixture, it'll show all that information there as well. And then otherwise you have the regular stuff there. I think there's like a map out. You can. It has that for the terrain, which shows which is the higher, is colored different. So yeah, all kinds of good information here, I think. Yes, I do, Amela. I have Game Pass. Yep, that's how I got Farm Sim 22 for free, the base game. I haven't bought the Seasons Pass or anything like that. So, because I don't think there's, I don't know that there's anything. Well, I mean, I guess when there's new content, you're already paying for it. So like, if there's new maps, instead of having to buy the map separately, you get, I think, what the first year content is included in that Seasons Pass or something like that. I know there's supposed to be more stuff coming soon. So it looks like we are just a little bit off. Turn back to 194. And that should keep us in line with our first VOR. be here in 18 nautical miles, almost 17. And there it is right there. Yeah, a lot of nice area up here, that's for sure. I'm sure there's plenty of fishing, camping, boating, general relaxation. The kind of place that Mick would like, because, you know, look at this. You have this nice bit of land here, and it's not like you're right next to your neighbor. There's a little bit of distance, so you can. Mick could sit out on his porch in just his cowboy boots. It's all just wear the cowboy boots. That's it. I'm sure it's very quiet up here. A couple of F-18s up in the air today. There's one. There's another. I thought I saw another one here somewhere. Maybe not. No, I think you just have, well, so it used to be you had to have an Xbox Live account for multiplayer. But now I think most everybody has, if you have the Ultimate Game Pass, I think the multiplayer aspect is included. And then so it's like everything under one roof, I think, so to speak. Because a couple other people were talking about that the other day, that if you have the Ultimate Game Pass, it really is a good deal, because you get access to all the Game Pass games, and then, yeah, I think it covers the multiplayer aspect as well. So, but no, like if you, all right, so let's just pause this for a second. So if you're online, Amela, right? If I click on this and I see your name here, I can invite you to the group. I don't think you, because I've done that before, and it was fine. It was fine. So, yeah, I don't think you have to have it. Like, I don't know how Mick has his set up for multiplayer. I don't think you. I'm not sure how it's supposed to work, to be honest. I'm not. Because there's times like if I fly with. And it may just be too that you have to be on the same server as me in order for me to see you. So if you're like on the East USA server, or if I see you on here, I should be able to invite you to the group. Oops, shoot, oops a daisy. I did not mean to do that. But yeah, I don't know. Like when I fly with Captain Arish, I go to the same server he's on, and then spawn at the airport, and then eventually I see him, and everybody else kind of just follow. We all see each other eventually. But there has been issues where we'll be flying along, and I think it happened the other day. We were flying along, and then all of a sudden I couldn't see anybody, and then next thing I know is like, oh, there they are. So yeah, I think there's been some hiccups with the multiplayer. Yeah, it's all right. 222. Yeah, so I'm not sure, but I don't know if. I think as long as you have Xbox Live, then you can join on the multiplayer. I don't know that you have to have Game Pass necessarily either. So yeah, I don't really know. I'm not quite sure how it's supposed to work. To be honest, it's one of those weird sort of situations. Why were you wanting to join and you couldn't or something, Mela? I'm not quite sure what the question is about or anything. Or if you're just asking for general knowledge or something. I don't know. Oh no, Joseph, you had to water the garden in the front garden. Oh my goodness. Oh, the horror. What were they thinking asking you to water the gardens, Joseph? Oh, the humanity. How dare they? Phew. You're Joseph Adams, for God's sakes. You don't need to be watering anything. I'm kidding. Well, I mean, it's just helping out around the house, that's all. I mean, it's not like they're asking you to clean the toilets with a toothbrush or anything, or scrub the floor with a toothbrush. Oh no, so now you're gonna have to change your clothes. What did you do? I canceled the Xbox Game Pass and got the PC version. Don't know. You should be able to, as long as you have the multiplayer turned on. Then I think you'll be okay. And then as long as I see you on the list, then I can invite you to the group, I think. But yeah, I don't know how that's supposed to. You might have to ask Mick how he has it set up, because I don't know if he has like a live Xbox Live or any kind of thing that allow something like that. But I don't know. Not a lot. Okay. How? Well, I guess if you get out there and you're messing around with the hose, you can get yourself all wet. But I don't know, Joseph. Yeah, I'm not sure, Mel. You might have to ask Mick how he has his set up so that when he joins me, but usually it's because if I click on that one thing and there's a list of people who are friends of mine who are online, then I can invite them to the group. And so I think that's the only key is you have to be showing online in order for me to invite you. If you're not showing online, then I can't invite you. No, if you are on the same server, right, and there's a airport nearby or water strip nearby, you can certainly take off there and join me. But it's weird because sometimes it's like I have to invite people. Other times it's like they find me on the server. So yeah. So I don't know what's happened with that. I think either there's been I have no idea. Well, Melican, it's just that it's weird because sometimes, like I said, I have to invite people to join me, and other times people like Gung Ho Guy will just find me. Like he found me flying, and I could see him, and he could see me. Or Texan One, I think we were. I don't remember how we did that the other day when we flew out of Lukla, but yeah, it's one of those weird situations that I'm not quite sure how it's supposed to work, or if it works different ways to. So yeah, I have no idea. But it could be that either Microsoft multiplayer services are having issues, or Flight Simulator multiplayer stuff is having issues, or maybe both at the same time. It seems like on Xbox Live or anything that has a multiplayer aspect to it, if those overall servers are down or something, which does happen, then it creates a mess. But this could be everything is just a big mess for some reason. And it may be because it's summertime and a lot of people, nobody's at school, so it's like everybody's online, and it just overloads the system, I think, as well. I want to test that today as well. I knew there was something else I wanted to look at last night before. Oh, so Tuesday's flight. So here's the deal. the JFK is just a hot mess right now for whatever reasons. I cannot get a plane to if I start up the plane and turn all the systems on, even the ground power, the displays kind of like this will start up, they'll come on, and then they'll shut right back off for some reason. So I don't know what it is that's causing that. I don't really know what to think of what's happening. With that. Alright, so let's have a look here. Oh. Well, it automatically... So we just have to change that to that. That should pick up. There we go. And then we gotta go on 222. That. Oops. Nope, 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 nope. Oh, because it's just a DME. All right, that's fine. Well, it's there's just a lot of things sometimes that don't make sense here. But anyway, that being said, Tuesday's flight, we're going to part from Newark Liberty to go down to Cancun. Okay, I've tried. Now, if they want to fly out of JFK and it works for them, they're more than welcome to. I'm going to be flying out of Newark Liberty down to Cancun. So, it's up to people. I hope that we have enough people joining to make it a nice flight for Doris, because this was something that she requested. Initially it was going to be a 747 flight, but there was issues with that. I think it's just JFK in general is a hot mess right now for some reason. I don't know why, but it's fine. It's fine. Oh, so this is just a DME. That's why it says no VR. It's just a distance measuring equipment. That's all. All right, let's tune in to our final one over there by Boston. That is 11270. All right, so that'll be BOS when we are navigating towards that. So yeah, I have all the information. So if you want to join in on that flight on Tuesday, I have all the particulars already set. But again, if you want to fly out of JFK, more than welcome to. Hopefully we'll see you in the air. So yeah, hopefully Joe will join in as well. Tomorrow we have leg 22 of our flight from Allahabad Mel, am I saying that right? Is it Allahabad, or how is it pronounced? Do you know? Allahabad? I'm not sure how. And to Ranki. So I've broken it up. There's three legs. First leg is 62 nautical miles. Second leg is 121. Third leg is 88. So that will be, I think, it's not a straight shot like it was before, but we'll have it in legs to so I can keep track of where we are in the flight and time it and all that kind of good stuff. So Tuesday is the Newark Liberty to Cancun. Leg 23, that'll be a straight shot from Ranki to Kolkata. Thursday, King Air 350i Mountain Air Chattanooga. And then Friday, King Air 350i from Monterey to Vacaville. And Saturday, we'll be back in the P-38 Lightning going from Olympia Regional to Fairchild Air Force Base. And then Sunday, if you have the Kit Fox, we're flying Mexican Mountain to Grand Junction. We're just gonna have a nice. Oh, is it Allahabad? Allahabad. Allahabad. Allahabad? Is that right? Allahabad? Sorry, I'm trying to figure. I'm like, I don't know how to pronounce it. So, Allahabad. I'm guessing is the correct pronunciation. I do try to get those things right when possible. Allahabad. Okay. Thank you. I wasn't sure. Is that a new language? No, Joseph. That is not a new language. It's been around for quite a long time. Yes. Did you hear about the new language that was created yesterday, Joseph? I've never... Joseph. Oh, Lord. Oh, somebody's in a DC-6. Nice. Oh, yeah, just overnight, Joseph, a new language was created. Well, you have multiple in the Middle East. You have Persian. You have Farsi. What else? There's Persian, Farsi. There's one more. What is it? I know it too. It's like Farsi, but it's like a different dialect of Farsi. Oh, I can't remember it now. Yeah, there's different dialects of that language, and it's like a regional thing. So yeah, Pashto. That's it, Pashto. I just remember that Pashto. Just like in Germany, there's like a northern dialect and a southern. Well, there was. Now that they basically tried to make it all under one language. I found out that I learned the southern dialect of the German language when I was in Germany, which my German teacher was not very pleased about. You're pronouncing it wrong. You have to. I'm like, but I learned it this way. No, you have to unlearn everything. So, well, that was quite the crack up, Joseph. You are quite the funny person. Let's see. I had to think about like new language. What? Oh, that language has been around for very long time. But just like most languages, there's always offshoots of the. Oh, she was well, she was for the most part. It was like, because I always thought about when we were practicing the words and all that, the pronunciations. I would just be like, I would say like I had learned it. No, you have to do it like, like. The O with the omaloot and all the two dots above and all that kind of stuff, and I'm just like, look, when I was in Germany, I had to take a quick language course. I said, I'm thinking to myself, I'm just going to be honest. I learned enough to ask a young German woman if she spoke English, and that's all I needed to know. That's it. I didn't care about anything else. I didn't care about asking for directions to the train station or anything. All I wanted to know was how to ask a young woman, does she speak English? She said yes, and she was more than happy to speak English because she wanted to practice her English. So, but the course was not like, when you get to Germany, it was like a 2 week quick, a few phrases kind of thing. So, like asking for directions or stuff like that. Saying hello and goodbye, thank you, you're welcome. Just, you know, just basic phrases, basic words. But all we wanted to know was, sprechen Sie English? Yeah? Okay. That's all we cared about knowing. And again, it wasn't like they wanted, German people did not want us to practice German. They wanted to practice their English, and we were more than happy to oblige. So, yeah. Now, if in most GIs, if they did marry a German woman, they did learn the language, and most kids were bilingual. They learned German and English. Their mother taught them German. But they went to school. They learned English as well. But they had a knowledge of both languages. All right, and we are on a heading of 204. Our DME is right up here by this airport. Yeah, there was plenty of American soldiers that went over there, married a German woman, and there was the story goes that usually if you were a GI and you married a German woman, that she was going to want to go to America with you, and that was it. She wanted, but most GIs, they married a German, they preferred to stay in Germany. Their families were there. They were fine with staying there. You would go for a visit to America, but you weren't. That wasn't like your main reason for marrying some women were like that, but not all of them. That was my mom's biggest fear, was that I would marry a German woman and she'd get her citizenship and then leave me, and I'd be screwed financially. Yeah, she made me swear to never. She's, don't you dare marry a German woman. I'm like, okay. Promise me you won't. I'm like, okay. She was very adamant about that. 204. There we are. Maybe 205. Yeah, she made me promise that I wouldn't. And I'm like, well, okay. No, GI is government issue. So that was like the overall nickname for soldiers was GI's government issue. Was what it meant. So like GI Joe was government issue Joe. That's what it meant. So, or GI is also gastrointestinal. There's multiple uses, multiple. But yeah, predominantly it was government issue. Yeah. no, G. But see, like with GI Joe, it was everybody was from different services or whatever. You know, you had Navy people and like special forces and all kinds of stuff. But it was all under one. Because generally, unless somebody says, "Well, what branch do you serve in?" most people were like, "Oh, you're a GI," and it was just a broad term meaning service member. But unless you ask, like, okay, what branch do you serve in? Marine Corps, Navy, Air Force, Army, Coast Guard, now Space Force. We need to be on a 203. Okay. Now we should be getting back online there. So yeah, that was when you said GI, it was just a broad term for a service member. There's a DC sense. I really cannot wait for that to come to the Xbox. Oh, here's another thing, folks. I did do that I'm hoping will make things a little bit better. So I took off the photogrammetry to hopefully, because I think that's part of the reason why I've had a lot of issues as well. But so hopefully that will. It won't be like a ton of data. It was like an hour or something. We still have like 36 nautical miles, although we're talking to Boston Approach already. So we're coming into their airspace right here, or we're already in it. So, yeah, we're coming into Boston airspace or whatever, but we're within the approach. Their frequencies and all that are their airspace. So, but we're not, because we're going to go right by Logan. So, matter of fact, if we go over here and we zoom out a little bit. So there's Logan right here. And we're zoomed out at 25 nautical miles. So we're going to go right on the eastern edge of Logan. Basically. But it's not a long flight. I mean, you can do it even on your own. It's not that difficult, to be honest. It's not that bad at all, really. Yeah, once we wrap things up for the day, or once we land on the water here near Logan, we will. And I think this water landing strip is part of. It's under the control of Logan International, I think. It wouldn't surprise me if that's the case. How do I know the direction? What do you mean, the direction? if you can clarify, I can probably answer you a little bit better. So, well, I guess I can try to explain it. So, up here you have your north is always point. You know, this arrow will tell you north, so we're heading south basically. Yeah. So, well, all right. So in the world map, when you create your flight plan, so like this was VOR to VOR, it will show you basically your path, right? But it won't give you the headings. Now on SkyVector, which you don't have to sign up for an account, you could just use it for free. You plug in, if it's there, if it's on SkyVector, you put in your departure airport and your arrival airport. It won't, you don't have to put in, it won't give you an option to put in like the which runway you're going to land or take off from. It's just like it'll say, okay, you're taking off from 76 Bravo, we're heading to MA17. And then you take the VOR names from the world map and you plug that in, and then it'll show you the direction. It'll give you like a bearing. And so then that's like my baseline sort of, we're flying this direction for this many nautical miles. And then it works. It shows everything it shows is correct. Although what it doesn't take into account is any kind of wind drift or anything like that. So you have to pay attention to that as well, so that you're basically staying on track, and that you're, as long as you're, like all this stuff is kind of lined up, then you're heading the right direction. Now, if you don't have something like this, because this is the G1000, I think, is amazing, and I'm glad, like I said, that we're getting it on the it'll be the base, it'll be the new face of all the Garmin systems that have the so. And then up here, it'll give you like your heading. You have your heading information here. This will tell you like what you should be flying at to maintain your to stay going the right direction. Now, if this was an IFR flight, I would hit the nav button and it would fly me where it says to go. So I wouldn't have to it would adjust itself constantly according to wind drift and everything like that. But here on this, you could see we have a heading of 205 and we have a course of 205 right here. And there's our magenta line, that's our VOR line, which is like that line over here. So if you noticed back before, when we were flying along, and then before I turned on a different heading to pick up the next nav aid, that there was a magenta line and there was a white line. The white line was our next track, basically, that we were going to be flying on. So once you pass, you're going to have to pass over that VOR or that DME or whatever it is, and then the next line will turn magenta, and that's your new course, your new heading, whatever. So we have 24 knots. Yeah, no problem. So yeah, so it's good, like, I think, this is just my personal opinion, if you have something like this, it's good to practice with it, because then you kind of get an idea of everything. Now, we don't have something like this in the Junkers 52, right? Oh, everybody just disappeared. Look at that, see? That's what I'm talking about. Everybody just went gone. Now probably they'll all pop back in a moment. So if you have this, then you can kind of practice on your navigating, right? And just get used to turning and following different different headings and all that, right? So then when you are, so like when we fly in the Junkers 52, for instance, it's a what do you call it? I don't have a system like that in the Junkers 52, right? I have a radio system that I put the VOR or that frequency in, and then that's our first, because this one has multiple. You can put in two, for instance, right? So this is the one we just came from, and this is the one we're going to here in Boston, 112.70. So yeah, now we're going in different airspace based on that line, that outer blue circle right there. So what happens is, so I put in that first VOR. Like tomorrow we have all VOR DMEs. So that DME is distance measuring equipment. VOR is very high, something with radio. It's like there's I think it's omnidirectional radio, very high frequency omnidirectional radio, something like that. So that's like the very, see, now everybody's here. Look at that. All the names, things just pop back in. So I put that in, and then when we go on, and I know the heading. So when we take off, I have to turn on the heading of this, and then everything should line up, right? As long as I head that direction, and I know, like, okay, our first leg is 62 nautical miles. If I say, okay, if 62 nautical miles with the airspeed of 107 knots, I divide that distance by the knots that I think I'll be flying at, and that'll give me an estimated time to get to that first point. So if you have a good estimate, then you can say, okay, by this time I should start to see this. Right, so like I think our first one was going to be near an airport, for instance, right? So within maybe an hour, maybe an hour and a half, maybe hour 20, right? Within an hour 20, I expect to see that airport. It may be beyond an hour 20, it may be less than an hour 20, but I have a window to work with to say, okay, this is what I expect to see at this point in the flight. And so then once I reach that next one, then I have to dial in the next frequency and then turn on the next heading. And that's basically, that's like the very basic form of navigating. But if nothing else, like say all this stuff suddenly turned off, right? And the VORs just, everything went blank, I could still, in theory, if you have a compass right here, right? This little compass up there. Let's see if I can actually see. Oh, maybe not. All right, there we go. So this little compass, as long as I have this and I have a chart that shows me the area, I can still navigate, because that's visual flight rules. VOR is technically under instrument flight rules, but in the sim, when you have the drop down menu, it shows it as a VFR flight rules. It should be under IFR, because it is a instrument. We're using instruments to navigate. But if everything went dark, as long as I have like all this stuff shut off, or even if the VOR shut off, as long as I have a chart, which every pilot should have, a chart of the area, so that if all their electronics suddenly fail, they can still navigate. And that's what Captain Arj was saying. Like, it's nice to rely on GPS and some other stuff, but if you were to if you were going to what's the word so yeah, you have to be able to navigate regardless. If you're going to fly, you should have the rudimentary skills to fly without all this stuff on. If it all went, like, even if you have like a little like iPad that has all this other information, you have like a backup. You still need to have the paper chart, I think, because then you know, okay, yep, I see this airport over there, I see this area here where the water is, and I see this these roads and these other water areas. I know where I am roughly, and I know how much farther I have to go. You can calculate, because each hash mark is a nautical mile. So you can count nautical miles up and down, you can go east to west, north to south, or whatever. So you can count those and you know roughly, okay, I have this much left to go to get to Boston. And then after that, once I fly over Boston, I should see there, have an idea where that landing strip is on the water, for instance. Or you could say, hey, my systems have failed, I'm calling in the Boston Logan for an emergency because all my systems have turned off and I need information to land quickly. Because maybe it's not that everybody else's systems have gone off, it just may be that you've had a failure in your avionics, right? So that's why when we fly in the Junkers, now I'm going to the very base model Junkers, pretty much. It doesn't have that DME little extra panel that I can click on and say, okay, we have this much farther to go. Now, if I know roughly the distance, well, I know the distance, but I know if I have a rough estimate of the time, I can say, okay, by this point, this is what I should see. And as long as I can see it. So there's Logan International right there. We do have, so 9.4 nautical miles to get to the VOR DME that's here near the airport. So, and then you can go a step further and you can do celestial navigating as well, because that is the earliest form of navigating. And so if you have a chronometer or watch or stopwatch, and you can time yourself. You know how far you've gone, how much farther you got to go, and then you can say, okay, at this point, let's say we've been flying for like 5 hours. On the 4 hour, or we have an expectation of a 8-hour flight. On the first hour, I need to know where I am and that I'm heading the right direction. Would have to shoot, like, if I could see the sun and anything else that I could use to create to get an azimuth, basically, in degrees and everything. Then I know roughly where I am in relation to those, like the sun, for instance. I would know, okay, there's a way to calculate it. It's based on, if I understand correctly, a lot of it is trigonometry and some geometry. I've been reading a book that they talk about the shape of the Earth. Some people say it's round, but some people say, well, it's not exactly round. But to our eye, it looks round. There may be some, but it's definitely not flat. But you can, based on where you are, that's how, like the sundials. I see a shadow and roughly I know where I am based on, or what time of day it is, based on the shadow. Okay. Yeah, I just saw an ad was rolling through. So anyway, so we're going to descend about 2,000 feet. Our landing strip is right here. Right over in that area right there. So we are going to start descending. We're going to start slowing down here a bit. And then we should be able to call in and say we're landing there. Tailwind Boston right there. And we're coming in on runway 32. Right there. So there's our. We can do the pattern. That's fine. There's Boston, Logan International. There's downtown Boston. Now it's going to look kind of yucky because I've turned off the photogrammetry or whatever it's called. So it's not going to be super defined. So I'm trying to see if that will fix some of the issues we've had with the game crashes and stuff like that. So, but we're going to fly this pattern here in a minute, and we'll get on the water, and we'll probably taxi off somewhere and more industry. We could probably taxi somewhere over here, I guess, if we need to. But we may, let's see. Oh, see, it's still clearly defined. It just takes a while for it to show definition. But it's fine. It's not like the greatest, but we might fly right near where we were at on the Train Sim World 2. Yep. There it is. I do believe. Well, see, that's showing track speed. Oh, yeah, because we did go under that. So, there's where we were just at in Boston. There's the train station right there. Ta-da. Now we know and knowing's half the battle. G.I. Joseph. Alright, let's go ahead and turn off some things. Turn that off. Turn off the old mode. And see, that's another thing too. As long as you see the things that you know are points of interest that are easily defined for you, then you know where you are roughly. Like when I fly into the Bay Area, I know, like if I see the bridges, I know exactly what bridge we're flying over and what's the next thing I should see, kind of thing. That's like visual references. That's visual flight sort of stuff. But you also have to be careful. You cannot, in many cities like Boston, for instance, or New York or San Francisco or places like that, you have to get permission, I think, to fly anywhere near the city, Uh, but even then, it's like you can't go super close. You have to keep a certain distance from the area. That's why, like, even military jets, unless it's like a emergency of some kind, they're not supposed to go supersonic over populated areas. That's a big no-no. Because if you do it and you're at a certain altitude, for instance, you're gonna blow out all the windows in that if you're very close. So yeah, you will make everything. You'll cause a lot of damage. But luckily in the sim we can do it and nothing terrible happens. Nobody dies, no property's injured. Maybe people's feelings are hurt, but that's about it. But that's okay. They'll get over it. There's still, I think I've told this story before, in the San Francisco Bay Area, there's still people to this day that do not, they loathe the idea. They hate it. There's just no other way to put it. They hate when the Blue Angels or the Thunderbirds come to the Bay Area and do an air show. They freak out. They're all newspapers, any kind of media in the Bay Area, they just are freaking out over an air show. Like they get so upset about it. I have to laugh. I'm sorry, I do. I just kind of have to laugh about it because it's like, every year it happens. At some point they're going to visit, and if go out of town if you have to. I mean, that's the way I look at it. Oops. Oh, it's just stuck there. Okay. Never mind. Yeah, if you know that you're going to be bothered by it, take a vacation, go out of town. Go up to the Sierra Nevadas or something. If you've never seen the Blue Angels or the Thunderbirds, I've seen the Blue Angels once. It's a once in a lifetime experience. If you could ever do it one time in your life, I would highly recommend it. It's amazing, I think. Oop, 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 oop. There we go. Well, welcome to Boston. Local time is 9:40 in the morning. We understand and appreciate the fact that Joseph had to go water the garden today. But we're glad he still found a way to come back and watch the rest of the stream. Thanks. That was a little bit, wasn't spot on, but it worked. So we do appreciate you coming by and hanging out today. Here on your Sunday morning or afternoon or evening, maybe even early Monday morning, whatever it is in your part of the world. We'll be back tomorrow, 7:10 Eastern, 11:10 UTC, 12:10 UK in the Junkers 52, departing from Allahabad to Ranchi. Should be a nice flight for that. Hopefully some nice scenery. So if you can, do join us for that. And let them know we are clear of the runway. That's the proper thing to do. So we'll be back then, and so yeah. Well, once we get over here, we'll wrap things up. I'm not sure where the actual sort of building or something where they could, pull into for anybody who just landed here in a float plane. Like, is there like some sort of a terminal, or would you land and then somebody would come out in a little boat or something to pick you up? I don't know. I figure we'll go over here because this looks kind of nice. There would be some dock or something you could probably pull up to. Tie down the boat, kind of, or plane like a boat. See if we can run this thing right on up to the under the ground there. Oh, there we go. Perfect. All right, let's hit our battery. 1, 2. There we go. 1:05. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. Let me make note of my. Ooh, I did not add my time yesterday. Hold on a second while we're waiting for things to catch up. Let me do my math real quick. I totally got sidetracked yesterday, I think. All right. We are in the it is the 17. Oops. We went from 76 Bravo. Oops. A17010535 day. Okay. Remember to do all that. So anyway, that will do it for today. Greatly appreciate everybody coming in and hanging out as usual. Do enjoy the rest of your Sunday morning, afternoon, evening, early Monday. Hopefully not too early. But enjoy the rest of your day either way. I have been and always shall be your host and pilot, Uncle B. Until then, peace. Live long and prosper.